So I was asked to do a video on Bach Partita in E major, the Rondeau movement, and I was asked by Golden Viola 2. And I looked on YouTube and I found this video by Gil Shaham, who played this piece probably as an encore. And I thought that his rendition of it was very inspiring, and I think it's probably better than anything that I could come up with right now. But what I'd like to do, instead of me playing this, is to comment on Gil Shaham's playing and try to explain from my perspective what he's trying to accomplish and what he's able to accomplish. And therefore, with this explanation, I'm hoping that it will help all of you to play this piece and have some new ideas on how to interpret various phrasings and whatnot. So let's go ahead and I'll stop the video as I have something to comment. He starts out very strong, very confident. Okay, so no fear. He just goes straight into it and has that very powerful. Okay, so there is no hesitation in his playing. Okay, that's the first one. Now, this whole entire phrase repeats itself, and one of the golden rules of violin playing, or musical playing in general, is if you have two of the exact same thing side by side, one being the repetition of the other, then the second time needs to be different than the first time. So let's see what he does. The first one was confident. Okay, so if you notice what he does the second time, he starts off again with pretty strong, but he immediately starts to back off. So if the first phrase was at this volume level, the second phrase starts at this volume level and immediately decreases down to this other very, it's a very graceful feel. And he takes the liberty to emphasize some of the notes, the bottom notes, so. But then he keeps the volume down, and as he comes out, let's see if I can do this or find where it is. Let's just play it from here. Okay, very quietly. Because this next passage he starts off very quiet as well. Okay, brings it up a little bit. Back down. Okay, back to the confident level again. So the way that he's doing this is he's in this passage. I mean, it's very graceful and very quiet, and it's different than that very beginning. And the second phrase, that repetition of the first phrase that he started off and brought it down in a diminuendo, the reason why he did that is to give continuity through that first part. So when we're getting into the, it wouldn't make sense to get into that phrase. So this, we'll just call this the second thought. So the first thought is that whole first thing where there's the first phrase and then the second phrase, which is a repetition of the first phrase. Then the second thought starts. Now it would be strange if the first thought was at this dynamic level, and then the second thought came at this dynamic level. And so what Gil Shaham, I think, is doing is that first phrase, that first thought, he's giving it a chance to come back down, or to come down first of all. And then when the second thought comes along, it's at that, the dynamic is already set up. And so he's basically setting himself up for the second thought. So let's keep going. Okay, so this is now the third repetition of that opening theme, and also, by the way, a rondo basically means that there's a theme that gets repeated throughout, and typically a rondo form will be something like the theme, and then an idea, and then the theme again, and then a new idea, a theme again, new idea, A, B, A, C, A, D, A, just however many it takes, and the A's represent the actual beginning theme that keeps coming back. So to me, this third repetition of the theme seems to be a combination of the first and the second times. So the first time there was that dynamic that held through the whole time. And I think this third repetition carries that same dynamic. Now the second repetition has that, he emphasizes some of those bottom notes. He emphasizes different notes and takes a little bit of time on those. And he does the same thing here in this third thought. So the third thought takes the first thoughts, the third repetition takes the first repetition's dynamic and the second repetition's phrasing. So he combines the two. And so to me, after listening to it a few times, it makes sense to me intellectually, oh, well, he's just combining those first two into the third one. And therefore, none of the repetitions are the same as any other one. He's very cleverly combining those elements to make it very interesting. Okay, you see how he's doing that after the... Okay, he's emphasizing these D sharps. Okay, so you're kind of hearing both parts. You're hearing the, and you're also hearing the. So. Okay, and it's ringing because it's in a big hall. It's all of these overtones, those notes that carry on, that are really high up there. They carry because he's emphasizing both the melody, which is that, and we'll call it the harmony. And I believe he keeps doing that up here as well. Okay, and then he does a, let's see. And he holds that double E there, and I think that's just probably we'll just call it a Gil Shahamism. It's just whatever he feels like doing, so. And he keeps going after that. Oh, and I should probably mention, the reason why I bring up this Gil Shahamism is because I probably have Ben Chanisms, and that makes my playing unique, and it makes that people really want to hear those types of things. I've had friends tell me that. And in your playing, you can make it very interesting if you have your own little ideas, things that you come up with yourself. And so it's okay to borrow ideas from Gil Shaham, from Itzhak Perlman, from all those great violinists, but at the same time, if you have an idea that occurs to you that sounds great to you, give it a try and see how it goes. And if it's something that connects with the audience, and if you can tell that, then by all means do it. Okay, this is the fourth repetition. Okay, so it's mimicking. It's very similar to the second repetition where he's bringing it back down in dynamic. Okay, but this time he made it a little bit more legato overall. He took a little bit of time in that very beginning to set it up. And then here, I think he made that a little bit more legato, so it's more, well, let's see. It's to prepare for the next phrase that he's going to bring in, which is right now. And this phrase starts at a lower dynamic, and so he, like the second repetition, he brought it down in dynamic so that we can lead it in, so it's not a sudden change in dynamic. Okay, and you hear that leading the... Let's see, what are the notes? I already forgot. Hold on. Let's do it one more time. Now listen for the high notes. The da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I can't remember what the notes are. Okay, here it comes. Here we go. You see how he's leaning on that in the beginning, and then he kind of lets it roll through. Okay, and this is kind of the most dynamic one. And you hear that, I mean, he really wants to emphasize this one. So, I mean, he didn't hit this B and A like that before on earlier repetitions, but I mean, he's really going for it. Right? Okay? Because the next passage is that yeah. So if you're gonna set it up, I mean, that's what he's really doing here, is he's getting it so that the continuity from this repetition into the next new idea is smooth. And so you can hear that by him increasing in, what's the word, intensity, and going straight into that ya-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so the point here that I'm trying to make, just in my own mind, is that every repetition